Hi, I'm Lars of All About Samsung, and today we're gonna have a short hands-on with the brand new Samsung Galaxy A5 2017. I got lots of requests on the last video I did, but it was just in German, so I decided to do an English one as well. And the Galaxy A5 2017, what's about? Well, if you think back of late 2014 with the first generation of the Galaxy A series, Samsung introduced some mid-range flagship with kind of a premium design and materials. And actually some specs which actually worth to pay for. The next generation of the Galaxy A5 and A3 2016 adopted the same design as found on the Galaxy S6. And so everybody was waiting now for the next generation. Here it is, and it packs some really interesting features. Check it out. So let's have a closer look on the Galaxy A5 2017. On the front you have actually a 5.2-inch Full HD AMOLED display. Actually, it's more or less the same as found on the Galaxy A5 2016, even though I think it's a little bit brighter. I need to turn it a little bit down just to film it, because when I switch the brightness full up, you can actually see this is way too bright for the camera right now. So I'm gonna switch it down a little bit so we can see everything, and we just have a quick look on the design of the device. And when I turn it around, you can see Samsung is using now a feature found on the Galaxy S7 or maybe Galaxy Note 5, you may already know, because now Samsung is actually using rounded edges on the glass of the backside of the Galaxy A5 and A3 2017. This is quite a nice feature, and Samsung is using beneath the 3D glass some 2.5D glass on the upper and lower edges as well, so it's a little bit rounded and it really feels comfortable in your hand. On the backside you can see another feature, because now the camera is almost the same level as the rest of the backside, so now it's not a big camera bump anymore. I really didn't like this feature on the Galaxy A5 2016, and it's almost the same design, at least in terms of camera, as found on the Galaxy S7 Edge, because on the Galaxy S7 Edge you had quite a bigger camera, but it was even though on the same level as the backside, and this is the same on the Galaxy A5 2017. And there is something more you have to know, because here I have the black color option. It's called Black Sky, and I really do like it, even though the black color option normally with the glass backside is quite problematic in terms of fingerprints, because glass, it really is bad for fingerprints and feels a little bit, well, low. So there are two other color options actually available at the start. This is the blue mist color option on the Galaxy A3, and it'll be available on the Galaxy A5 as well. It's a little bit blue, and it depends on the light actually falling on the device. If you have a really bright light, it's almost white, even though there is no white color option on the Galaxy A5 and A3 2017. It's a bit strange actually. And there's another color option called Gold Sand. Well, it's really gold, and I would say it's a bit special. And there's a fourth color option, but it'll be only available through the online store in Germany at least. It's a kind of a peach pink color option. I didn't see this one, so I just can't say anything about this. When you turn the device a bit, you will notice that now the bezel actually and the frame is in the same color like the whole device. So on the black color option now you have a black frame, and it really looks gorgeous. I mean, it looks kind of a badass device. Now you have a black frame with a black backside and black front. This is really nice, and I really do like it on the blue color option as well. I'm gonna show it to you on the Galaxy A3, because this is just what I have here in this color. So you have a blue backside and kind of a bluish metal frame as well. And I really do like that Samsung did this slight design feature, because it really looks nice. On the front you're gonna notice the display I already showed you, and some buttons, because you have some buttons. You have the home button actually with the fingerprint sensor, and left you have the multitask button, and right you have the back button. So this is the design. Well, not in total, because on the left side you have two buttons, the volume buttons, and on the right you have a power button, but something special. What is this about? Well, on the downside you can see Samsung is using USB Type-C interface and a 3.5mm jack. This is nothing special, but there is something missing. Actually, when you compare the Galaxy A5 2017 to the Galaxy S7, you're gonna notice that Samsung is using on the Galaxy S7 some speakers on the downside of the device. They're missing on the Galaxy A5 2017 and on the Galaxy A3 2017. And when you turn the device around, you're gonna see that the speaker is now on the right side of the device. It's just slightly above the power button, and this is kind of a strange decision, because just have it on one side, so it's not a stereo speaker. You don't have a speaker on the left side. And at first I was like, okay, this is strange, but actually when you think about it, it might be a good idea, because normally you're just holding the device like this, so you're blocking any speaker down here, or you're holding the device like this for gaming or something, and then you're blocking the speaker down here. Using the speaker here, it might be not that often the case that you're actually blocking the speaker. A feature actually missing is the notification LED. When you're going into the settings, you're gonna notice that there is no option actually to do notifications on for LED, even though it's not available in the display option as well. So there is no LED charging light or notification light up there. And some people would say this is a flaw, but for me actually I'm fine with this, because when I switch the display off, you're gonna see Samsung is now using the same always on display they used on the Galaxy S7 before, and I really do like the feature. Under the hood you have a 3000 milliamp battery, so it's quite a big battery, and it should totally be fine with the always on display, and so you can see the notifications even though you don't have a notification LED. Another thing to see actually is Samsung is using Android 6.0 on the Galaxy A5 2017, and this is kind of a shame, because in 2017 using Android 6.0, this shouldn't be the case. Actually, when you're going to the software info, you're gonna see this is Android Marshmallow, and this is quite an old Android version. Samsung should totally use Android 7.0 Nougat on the Galaxy A5 and A3 2017. Another thing to see at least is actually the user interface, because Samsung is now using the Grace UI they introduced with the Galaxy Note 7. The Note 7 died, but the Grace UI didn't. So when you're checking into the settings, you're gonna see they're pretty bright and, well, they're pretty easy to use. And when you're checking out the notification bar, you're gonna see Samsung is using the Grace UI here as well. So you have the blue light filter, you have the secure filter, so you have some really nice design features in this interface. I do like this, at least. I don't like the Android 6.0. Under the hood of the Galaxy A5 2017, you have actually some mid-range tier specifications. So when you check it out, it's an ARM Cortex-A53 clocked at 1.9 GHz. This is the Exynos 7880. It's an octa-core CPU. I would say this is totally fine for a mid-range device. You have 3 GB of RAM. This is quite nice for a mid-range device, and you have 32 GB of storage. Actually, just usable are about 24 GB, but you can expand the storage with a micro SD card, of course. And of course, you have the 3000 milliamp battery. This is quite good for such a mid-range device. It's just 7.9mm thin, and using a 3000 milliamp battery, this is quite nice. A thing quite new on the Galaxy A series in this quality is actually the camera, because Samsung improved the camera a lot. On the backside you have a 16 megapixel shooter with an aperture of f1.9, so it's quite a good camera, even though you don't have an optical image stabilization. This one is missing. The Galaxy A5 2016 had an optical image stabilization. The Galaxy A5 2017 doesn't feature an optical image stabilization. And on the front, the camera, when you're gonna check it out and you see the settings, you're gonna see the camera on the backside, 60 megapixel and full HD video, and the camera on the front has the same resolution as the camera on the back, 60 megapixel. This is quite nice, and it has the same aperture of f1.9, and it can do full HD videos. You don't have a 4K video option. Actually, I'm pretty sure this won't interest anyone. I mean, in this use case, more or less 95% of the users won't care about 4K video. One thing to add for the mid-range. Well, you have some nice materials, and another feature Samsung adopted from their flagship devices, because on the Galaxy S7 and S7 Edge, Samsung used an IP68 certification, so it's waterproof. And on the Galaxy A5 and A3 2017, Samsung is using the same. It's IP68 certified, so you can drop it into the water 1.5 meter deep for 30 minutes and it should survive, at least if it's just normal water and not salt water or anything like this. This is quite nice to see that Samsung is actually using IP68 in their mid-range class. So this was our hands-on of the brand new Samsung Galaxy A5 2017. I think what Samsung doing here is quite nice, because adopting the edged glass backside is really nice. It makes the A5 2017 fits comfortably in your hand. It's really nice in your hand. The cameras are good. I would say they're pretty good for the mid-range actually, and that Samsung is using now an IP68 in a mid-range device is also quite nice to see. And the always on display is a nice feature. Actually, I'm not a big fan of it, but the battery of 3000 milliamp is quite big, and so you can use some notifications on the display. You don't need a notification LED. So I think the little flaw of the missing notification LED is okay because you have the always on display. So this was our hands-on. If there are any questions regarding the Galaxy A5 2017, just let me know below in the comments. I'm Lars of All About Samsung. See you next time. Bye.